lovelies, it is time for another round of Wheel of TBR, so stay tuned. So we are having some technical issues with our power at the moment. It keeps going in and out, so hopefully we'll have power throughout this whole video. Apparently our transformer is having issues and they're gonna send like a tree trimming crew out and we might lose power during that time, so hopefully I can get through this video before that happens. So if you don't know, Wheel of TBR is one of my multiple TBR games that I play in order to pick my books for the month. I spin the wheel 5 times, unless there's bonus spins. I spin the wheel 5 times, I find a book that fits the prompt, and then I replace the prompt. I also mark on the board. When I get 5 marks on one spot, I have to do a bonus spin. And if I didn't complete something for the month and I choose not to roll it over, I have to take a punishment spin. That doesn't mean I have to take a book. It just means I have to do a spin and put a mark on the board. Now if that mark gives me 5, then that does mean I have to do an extra book. Okay, so before I get started in what I'm going to read for April, we need to go over how I did last month, but not just last month, February and March. Because if you watched my last Wheel of TBR, you know that I filmed my February and March ones in January because we were gone for almost the entire month of February. So I kind of combined these TBRs throughout the 2 months, and let's see how I did. So starting off, I had 2 rollovers. One was Lock and Key, a graphic novel by Joe Hill and Gabrielle Rodriguez, and I did read this. And the other was Alice by Christina Henry, and I'm not sure where that is right off the top of my head, but I have read that as well. For my February spins, the first spin I got was New Release, and for that I selected 5 Survive by Holly Jackson, and I did read this. The next thing I spun was Adaptation, and for that I listened to an audiobook off of Hoopla. I listened to Tiny Pretty Things by Sona Sharaputra and Danielle Clayton, and I did read that. For my coffee mug, I selected It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Sorry, Einstein bumped the tripod. And I don't know where that book is right offhand, but I did read that. For comedy, I selected A Dash of Salt and Pepper by Kosoko Jackson, and I didn't read this. However, I replaced it with The Valentine's Hate by Sydney Halston, so I'm counting this as read. And for Instagram poll, I was to read Hunting the Deep by Adriana Mather, and I think I'm about halfway through this right now. As of filming this, it is the 24th, so I still have a week left, so this is absolutely going to get finished in March. For March, the first spin was Pet Pick, and for that, Einstein selected Unchanged by Jessica Brody, and I did read this. For the spin Supernatural, I was to read Covet by Tracy Wolff, and I did read this. For the spin A through Z, I got the letter V, and for that I selected Saga Volume 2, and I did not read this, but this one I'm going to be rolling over. For the spin Nonfiction, I was to read The Year of Living Danishly by Helen Russell, and I did read this. For Twitter pick, I was to read White Rabbit by Caleb Roehrig, and I did not read this, so I'm gonna actually take a punishment spin for this one. And for Book with a Monster, I was to read Women and Other Monsters, and I did read, well, I'm counting that as done because I read part of it and then DNF'd it. So only 1 rollover and only 1 punishment spin. Now, on top of that, I also have lots of buddy reads and group books and all of that stuff that I need to try to, I have a lot of books that I need to try to fit into my TBR because I play multiple games. I want to try to put some of those from the other games in there, like my Have I Read It's or my Cards Against My TBR. But like I said, I also have buddy reads and all of that. And I am participating in the Magical Readathon. So after I do all of my spins and I've got all my books, then I will take a minute to figure out my TBR for the Magical Readathon, and I will include that with this video at the end. Okay, so let's start out first by taking my punishment spin and see where I have to put a mark. Oh, it ended up on one that actually has no marks, so that's handy. Okay. So now we will go on with our first spin. Okay, ugly cover. What do I think has an ugly cover? Okay, so for this one, I don't have a physical copy of this book. So I'm gonna bring my phone up and try to show you what the cover of this book is. So we're doing sort of an unofficial buddy read on my coffee with my coffee patrons for like all of the Jennifer L. Armentrout books, and we've started with her first series, which is the Lux series, and in April we're going to be reading Origin. And this is what that cover looks like, and I think it's ugly. Okay, so that is what I'm going to select for ugly cover. So take this one off, and we will select a new one, and then I'll mark it. Let's see. Oh, buddy read. That's a handy one to have because I always have a lot of buddy reads. And we will mark that. That gives 3 on that spot. I do have a couple of danger zones here. Mythology inspired has 4, contemporary has 4, and one word title has 4. And then I have a couple of them that have 3. All right, spin number 2. Most recent. Ooh, hold on. I know what that's going to be. Because I literally just unboxed this for my Cards Against My TBR, which I filmed right before this. So where is it? If you don't know, for my coffee patrons, the top tier wine patrons, they get each month, I select a book buddy of the month, and that person gets a huge amount of perks and rewards and stuff. And one of the things that they get to do is to select something off of my wish list, and then I give them a gift card to pay for it, and then I have to read that book. So I will be reading The Wicked King by Holly Black for that. Okay, so let's replace most recent with most anticipated. I know exactly which one I would pick for that one too. And then we will mark this, which gives us 4 on that spot too now. So now we have 4 danger zones here. Okay, spin number 3. Double-edged sword there. Okay, so most anticipated, yay. I know what I'm gonna pick, like I said. Hold on. So my most anticipated book of this month is my coffee patrons buddy read. My book buddy of the month also gets to select which book the whole group reads for the month. And we will be reading Going Dark by Melissa De La Cruz. So this is my most anticipated book for this month. So I'm excited to get this on. However, as I said, that has 4. So now let's replace most anticipated with so many stuck together. Unplugged book box. So that's just something from one of my unplugged book boxes. And let me erase this. Okay, so we will be doing 6 spins now. So we're on to spin number 4. Oh, I thought I was gonna get that one. Woo. Okay, face. A book with a face on the cover. Okay, hold on. So this is something I'm buddy reading with my Twitter group, and doing an unofficial buddy read for anybody in my coffee patrons that also is wanting to read this series. We are reading Keeper of the Lost Cities, and for April we're reading Never Seen, and there are faces on the cover, so that's what I'm gonna select for that one. Okay, we will replace face with Xanderpick. Ooh, interesting. It's always a scary one. Alright, spin number 5. Oh, I didn't mark that. Okay, I'll have to do that. Hold on. Let me go over here to Xanderpick and put the mark on there. There we go. Which gives 2 on that one. Oh, and it landed on buddy read. Do I have other buddy reads? Yes. I am reading Court by Tracy Wolf. I'm participating in the Cravealong, so this is essentially the buddy read for that. So yeah, Court. Okay, I got some thick books on this TBR. All right, let me go ahead and mark this while I'm thinking about it. That puts 4 on that one. And we will replace buddy read with adult. Just any adult book. Okay, so that was spin 5, which would have been my last spin. However, I have a bonus spin. So, I don't mark on my bonus spins. So I will change out the prompt, but yeah, no more bonus spins will be added. Okay, so spin number 6. That's a good thing too, because that would have been an extra spin. Okay, so we're looking for a one-word title. Court would have worked for that. I have not fit my Have I Read It's on there, but neither one of them are one-word titles. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go upstairs and look at my books, so I'll be right back. Okay, sorry if the angle changed while I was gone. I grabbed the first one-word title that I saw that wasn't part of a series, and that is Beware by R.L. Stine. It says R.L. Stine picks his favorite scary stories. So that's what I'm gonna read for this one. Also, it's relatively short. It's only like 211 pages, and there's like illustrations and stuff throughout. Oh, and these stories aren't necessarily R.L. Stine stories. They're just stories that he likes. So like, this one's told by Alvin Schwartz, Daniel Wynne Barber, and so on. Okay, let me go ahead and replace this prompt. We'll replace that with standalone. All right, so give me just a few minutes to figure out my TBR for the Magical Readathon. Oh yeah, and TBR Knockout and Buzzwordathon. Okay, give me a little while. Let me figure out all of that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so far I've only figured out my buzzword, and for April, the buzzword is emotions. So it's a book that has like any kind of emotion in the title. And none of my books have emotions in the title. So this was not easy to find, but I found The Summer of Bitter and Sweet because bitter is a kind of emotion. So adding this book. Okay, so for TBR Knockout, the theme is new life. So one of the prompts is a book with an animal on the cover, and I had to look to make sure, because I was like, do insects count as animals? And yes, insects are animals. So I'm thinking Strange the Dreamer for this one. There are, like, I don't know, butterflies or moths or dragonflies, or there's insects on this cover, okay? So I'm counting this. This was one of my Have I Read It, so I needed to get this on my TBR anyway. And then I have to add a book that's not already on my TBR, because none of these books have flowers on the cover, unless Origin did, but I don't think it did. So I'm going to be reading Never Ever Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzalez for this one, because he is holding a rose behind his back. It's a flower on the cover. Okay, so many hours later, and I have finally figured out all of my stuff. So I think I've already told you for Buzzword and for TBR Knockout. So all that's left is my magical readathon. So my character did the novice for Illusionist Rogue, and I want to continue with that because that's very fitting for her. So she has 3 things to do, or I have 3 things to do. The first one is shape shifting, and the focus on that is to turn into a wolf. And for that is to read a book with wolf on the cover, title, or author's name. And this is perfect because I'm going to be reading Court by Tracy Wolf. So yay. The second class I have to take is Art of Illusion, and the focus for that is to disguise self. And the prompt is to match clothes color to cover color. So I'm gonna go with this one. It's a black book with some color on it. I've got a black shirt and black pants with some color on it. A little darkness here of some Freddy. So going dark for that. And then my last class is going to be Psionics and Divination, and we are doing Cloud Study 101, and that is to read a book with clouds on the cover or in the title. And for that, I can use Beware by R.L. Stine because there are some clouds on the cover there. So I didn't have to add any extra books for the magical readathon, so yay. Because I think I've got a pretty good bit here. It looks like I have 10 here plus Origin, and also I'm a co-host for the Thrills and Chills book club, and I didn't fit that on here either, which is for April we're doing The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, I believe, and so I have to read that as well. So like 12 books. I think that is so totally reasonable. Like what? I think this is probably one of my smaller TBRs, surprisingly. So have you guys read any of these books? Are you participating in any of these readathons or reading challenges? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.